Hey there, everybody. Let's talk about cognitive therapy. Cognitive therapy is what it sounds like. Cognitions we've talked about in the course is thinking. It's other things as well. But thinking is the primary component of cognitive therapy. And cognitive therapies really aren't that concerned with understanding the cause of a problem or why you feel or think the way you do. It's just about solving the issues at hand, giving you strategies to improve your life. So for this reason, cognitive therapy appeals to a lot of people who either don't understand where a specific problem may come from, or they don't really care. They just want some quicker improvements on their life. With that said, these are actually concepts that help many people, whether or not they're dealing with a mental illness, because we all sometimes have harmful ways of thinking. So the first thing I want to talk about, which is a big part of many types of cognitive therapies, are Beck's 5 examples of unhealthy cognitions. There are more than this, but these are 5 examples of unhealthy cognitions that I want you to know. The first is arbitrary inference. This is when you jump to conclusions. So you say, Lisa didn't smile at me when she saw me outside. She probably hates my guts. And that's a tiny thing that you're jumping to conclusions about. So there's not really any evidence to back that up. But you're going to a pretty negative place without any real reason to. The second is selective thinking. So you take a 100-question final exam, and you get 99 of those questions right. All night long, you're saying, I'm such an idiot because I missed that one question. So selective thinking is focusing on one, usually negative aspect of a situation. The third is overgeneralization. So your alarm doesn't go off and you sleep an extra 10 minutes. And so you go, oh, God, this is going to be such a terrible day. Everything's going to go wrong because of one thing. And then the fourth is actually 2. It's magnification and minimization. Magnification is when you blow things up out of proportion. Like my dog just barked in the middle of a video. Now this video is terrible and no one will ever learn anything from it. Random and fortunate example. Minimization would be that you get an A in a class. You go, it wasn't that big of a deal. It was easy. I didn't really have to do much. So you're downgrading your successes and you're blowing up your failures. Magnification and minimization. And then the final one is personalization, and this is when you take personal responsibility for problems that have nothing to do with you. I know someone who does this very frequently, and a family member will get sick, and somehow this person will tie it as it's their fault. Like, if only I hadn't taken them out for a drive in November, they wouldn't have been exposed to this germ. Making light of it, but we all tend to do that. Like in a serious situation, like somebody, makes a poor decision, we go, oh God, what if I had talked to them? But we have to be really careful what we blame ourselves for. So the 5 types of unhealthy cognitions are arbitrary inference, selective thinking, overgeneralization, magnification/minimization, and personalization. Lots of Asians. All right, so what's more common today? It's really rare to see someone just talk about cognitions because for quite some time, psychology has viewed cognitions and behavior as really being difficult and not really necessary to tease apart. So a lot of cognitive behavioral therapies are prevalent today. You'll see these often used to treat depression or anxiety. So the idea is let's look at these unhealthy thought patterns, but then let's also look at how they affect your behavior. Sometimes the way we think affects how we behave, but sometimes the way we behave affects how we think. So in a cognitive behavioral therapy, you might see a client being encouraged by their therapist to go introduce himself to someone in their class. And they'll have a positive interaction, hopefully, and then their behavior will change their thinking. So that's possible too. But one specific example of cognitive behavioral therapy is REBT. This comes to us from Ellis. This is Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy. Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy. REBT is a special type of CBT, which is all about irrational beliefs. So thoughts can be unhealthy, but thoughts come and go. Beliefs stick with us. So these are our ingrained patterns of thinking that we really feel hold true either about the universe or ourselves. So if you think that everybody has to love you or you're not a good person, that's an irrational belief. It's great that you want people to like you, but there will be people out there that hate you for no reason whatsoever. There'll be some people that don't like you because things that you do go against what they want. And that's okay. So you have to be okay with that. You can't expect everybody to like you. If you do, you are just setting yourself up for failure. Another example would be perfectionism. My eyes got big because that's something that I struggle with. But if you think you're going to be perfect or you should be perfect at everything, again, that's a belief that will lead to depression, that will lead to anxiety, because we're human. We're not perfect at everything. Some would say anything. And then another example would be if you think that you've never told a lie. That's not really a healthy belief either, because it's not true. We all lie, even if it's like tiny, tiny things. So REBT is about helping someone identify their irrational beliefs and then changing those as a way to improve their thoughts. So make sure you know cognitive therapy. Make sure you know the 5 examples of unhealthy cognitions. Make sure you know that typically today cognitive behavioral therapy is prevalent, and a specific type of that is REBT, rational emotive behavior therapy. It's all about unhealthy beliefs. And you saw several spontaneous appearances from my dog. So, Piper, say hi. Or don't. Piper. There we go. So anyway, cognitive therapy.